outrage. Things like who hurt on the decks. Glover hold the court and give it to no suspect. Politics in the mix, like Gumbo Stewart Rich. Spinning tales from Black Wall Street, real life's the pitch. Donnie Glover Show, be more news. Donnie Glover Show, be more news.
Welcome to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. How you doing, man?
Man, feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17 Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh, yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food.
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
That's right.
We got more than we can use. We got more than we can handle ourselves. We try to let it flow. Let it flow to the next person.
Yeah. We're proud of you, man.
Thank you.
And we're proud of your son.
Thank you.
You're watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
Business sticks hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the concrete, finger on the pulse, dropping wisdom like Hova. Each word a joke. Donnie Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, rebirth like a clock. Markets rising from ashes to gains. Donnie the narrator, truth runs in veins. Donnie Glover Show, be more news. Donnie Glover Show, be more news. Donnie Glover Show, be more news. Donnie Glover Show, be more news.
I'd like to welcome you to the Donnie Glover Show. We're coming to you live from California today. Of course, it's 3 hours early out there. Have you been peeping the news about what's happening in California? My God. I knew my West Coast people would be a little tired this morning. We were up late. But California is off the daggone hook. And they're not called riots, they're called protests. California protests. LA curfew lifts as more U.S. cities brace for protests. Well, that's good news. That was about 40 minutes ago. Hundreds have been arrested. National Guard, California National Guard. Wow. What do you think of that? As a media person, I tell you, what sticks out in my mind is this word protest. When it comes to black people, they riots. Everybody else is protests. That's what we were doing here in Baltimore in 2015, protesting. We were protesting. But that's the mainstream media for you. That's why you got to have your own media and news outlets. That's what it is. Here in the city of Baltimore, they say the murders are down. I found that hard to believe. But they say the numbers have spoken. The murders are down. What do you think? Baltimore. A whole lot. Well, it's graduation season. A lot of people have graduated from kindergarten all the way through to PhDs. You know, I'm a big proponent of education. Go get that education. Don't let nothing stop you. And encourage your children and grandchildren to get theirs as well. Nothing like an umbrella opening all the way up. You know, that's what education is to me, like a passport. It's a ticket to something bigger, something better. Yeah, but they say crime is down. I know there's going to be a very busy weekend. Saturday, you have the Juneteenth celebration for Delegate Malcolm Ruff. That'll be up at Penhurst Park, Northwest Baltimore. Of course, he's running in the 41st district. People presume he's running for state senate. Of course, that's the 41st district where Malcolm was hoping to be the next senator up there. That was where Joe Carter was the senator. And before her, it was Lisa Gladden. But we have fumbled the ball. We have fumbled the ball. And gave up the damn Senate seat. As hard as they are to come by. We gave it up. We do the boots on the ground and lost the 41st district. Maybe we shouldn't have did boots on the ground. You think? Maybe we should have just not voted for the people that we put on state central committee in the 41st district. Maybe while we were doing boots on the ground, we should have been vetting candidates. You think? Because we just lost a Senate seat. It's like losing gold. We lost gold. We were busy. Live from California. Let's get on out there and see what they're talking about. Doug Blacksher, welcome to the show. How you doing, Doug? How you doing? Are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Donnie Glover.
I know it's bright and early for you out there. You told me you were a soldier.
For you, I will do anything. How are you?
Doing good, man.
What's going on?
Well, the whole country is talking about California.
Well, California is faced with the president of the United States trying to destroy the democracy and employ his federal troops to disallow America to do what it does. California has been the forefront of everything. And Trump, if he defeats California, he defeats the nation.
And your point is because there's so many people there, and because of the significance to California to the Democratic Party, this may be a targeted hit.
Well, Donnie, you have to understand that California has been the forefront, and Baltimore, Maryland, has been the sister and the brother of California. So if he beats California, he beats the nation. So just keep it.
Doug, that's why you're on this show, because we don't want him to be California.
Well, what we have to do is we have to, as I have been doing, we have to get politically involved. We have to get politically involved, getting people out there to vote, get people out there to understand the what is happening here in California and across the nation. We are not politically involved. And until we get politically involved, we're going to be on the menu.
So look at this comment. Are they saying that we need a new line dance? We need a protest line dance? I mean, because we got the boots on the ground, you know, we entertain Are you saying we got a new line dance like a Zulu war dance?
Well, it's not really a Zulu lore dance. It's just getting people to understand that you can't, either you're in the game or you're in the stand. You have to be sitting at the table, or we're on the menu. And that's what we have been. We've been on the menu instead of sitting at the table, educating people.
We need a new line dance that shows a change in our thinking.
Well, wait a minute, rephrase. Can you state that again, Donnie? Because you're
instead of boots on the ground line dance, we need a Zulu war dance. Damn it!
Well, we need more than a Zulu war dance,
complete with spears and shields and unity, just like. And while we Zulu war dance as a new line for Trump to cross. Oh, okay. Nah, well, you think so? This ain't new, fam. He crossed any line.
Well, one of the things that Barbara Lee, who was a congresswoman, who is now the mayor of the city of Oakland, we need somebody out there who understands the politics and how politics play in both business and the
man, we need the Black Panthers to come back.
Well, let me tell you something. They're working on it because they see the issues that we have to address now. There's some big
Oakland
issues.
Stole the nation's heart. Black America is still proud of the Black Panthers, and I'm not talking about violence. Self-defense is not violence. That's defending yourself from other people who are violent. But the Black Panthers came up with that breakfast program before the United States government.
Donnie, you have given me the gateway to really entertain not just Oakland, Alameda County, state of California, but the United States. You've given me the opportunity to educate people on what is happening here in the Bay Area and Northern California. And at the end of the day, if we do not unite, if we do not understand the facts of the political process that Trump is using to take us backwards instead of forward, we're going to all lose. It's not doom and gloom. It's educate and move forward. And that's the problem. That's the process. At the end of the day, Donnie Glover, what's going on in LA? It's going to, today in San Francisco, California, they are determining if what Trump is doing is legal. And we have to understand that, we have to remember that what happens in the court system today is going to is drastically change the landscape of this country, of this world. We need to remember, we have to hold Trump accountable for his action and his administrative staff of what we need as a nation of not just white people, Hispanic, Black, but all people.
That sounds real nice. But it's the rich, and they don't care about you or me.
They really don't.
The ultra rich only care about themselves.
Social media has played a big part of what's going on right now. Your platform, Donnie Glover, that allows somebody like me to articulate and educate people who don't really understand. You have to get in the game. You have to identify what is going on and help with articulating and, once again, educating people that you can't sit on the sidelines anymore. You have to get in the game. You have to be involved. You have to vote. You have to get people to vote. Trump was elected because we were not looking in the alignment of what is going on in this country. The alignment is many young African Americans.
You mean black people?
Yeah, exactly.
We
Many
were
young
more aligned. I think we were more aligned than ever before.
Well, let me tell you
Maybe with
something.
Barack Obama.
Many young African American people have got themselves out of the game, and many young African American people say, "Hey, look, it doesn't make a difference. My vote does." Yes, it does. It really does. Every vote counts. Trump was elected based on his ability to utilize with hundreds of millions of dollars.
I don't know, Doug. I mean, I don't really know that there are people that believe he stole the election.
No, he didn't steal it. We just
No,
want.
there are people that believe that.
Well,
Especially with Elon running around dry snitching.
Well, let me tell you something. I have my own battles with Elon, but let me just make it clear here.
Elon said Trump and Jeffrey Epstein are besties. We're besties.
Well, Donnie, you need to look at it in a simple simplicity type of issue. Donald Trump and Elon Musk use their money to steal. Yeah, they did steal the election. But on the other hand, we being voters in this country have not utilized our power, our voting power. And that's critical.
I don't know. I think black people are tired of voting. Black people are tired of the BS. And that black people just say the hell with it. Because a lot of times we get in there and then we get nude.
Well,
it happens. Look at that man that ran against Barbara Lee.
Well, as I've stated before, Lauren Taylor, and I'm going to use
him.
I'm going to use him as an example.
He wanted to be used.
Lauren Taylor is one of the individuals who has been bought and sold by the big money PACs. Lauren Taylor received $400,000 from the MAGA money to steal Oakland. On my LinkedIn and Facebook page, one of the things I identified that Lauren Taylor received $400 million because the MAGA PAC wants to steal cities with money. They want to place people in position in which they would have an opportunity to run this city, this county, and this state. I pointed out that Lauren Taylor on LinkedIn and Facebook, that Lauren Taylor received $400,000, which educated people that, wow. And I also indicated that if Lauren Taylor wins, Trump and Elon Musk wins. And we can't have Elon Musk and Trump running the city of Oakland.
So we do vote.
Yeah, but you got to educate people to vote. I go down in different neighborhoods in Oakland and educate these people that, hey, it's critical. Don't think that your vote does not matter. Don't think the flatlands of Oakland beat the hills in Oakland with voting because people were educated. If people are not educated, then they go, "Oh, hey, my vote." You have to educate people, Donnie. We have to teach people that your vote does matter.
Doug, you cannot ignore that people have felt jerked by the political system. People we have voted for end up losing to an off-brand with outside interests. It's trauma.
Donnie,
trauma.
Donnie,
if a white lady can be traumatized seeing a black man bird watch in Central Park, then I can certainly be traumatized by the way black people have been treated when it comes to voting in America. They've tried everything to stop us.
Well, there are two issues that you brought up here. Once you vote, then you have to hold the political, the people who are elected, you have to hold them accountable. Oakland had 2 recalls, the mayor of Oakland and the district attorney. They were recalled and they lost. And the thing is, when you get in, you have to be intelligent enough to understand there's a process. You can't just get elected and run your city or your district attorney like it's your job. You were voted to represent your constituent. And in Oakland, California, and Alameda County, that's what people have learned.
So you said, okay. In terms of the riots, anything changed since last night from your perspective?
I would say that there is a contrast. There is a process that some people, when they get elected, they do not understand what their role is. And in Oakland, in the Bay Area, in Northern California, we have had to teach our elected officials that even after you are elected, you still have to work with your constituents.
And if they don't?
And that's critical. And Doni, let me just say this. Your platform.
It's our platform, Doug.
Okay. Our platform has allowed people to be educated on how the process works. And a lot of people, when you look at the mass media, do not teach our people how the process works.
Hold up, man. Ain't nobody teach these people how to do boots on the ground. They picked it up watching a damn video. Stop with the excuses, Doug.
They're not excuses, Doni.
People learn what they want to learn. They go to Dubai. Why are you going to Dubai? You know, they just ended slavery in 1971. Oh, I don't know. They got the most expensive buildings in the world. Sit your dumb ass down.
Doni.
We on some dumb stuff sometimes. And the white man's ice is always colder. Oh, I'm going to Paris. Everything Paris got, they stole from Africa. We so dumb sometimes. God, it makes me mad. Parlez-vous français. You ever been to Paris? It's filthy.
Doni.
All of the wealth comes from countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso. You know, we so goofy sometimes, man. I want to go to Dubai. Did you know they just ended slavery in 1971? Do you know that women are treated as second-class citizens? Do you know? But you want to go to Dubai. For what? And then we go to Dubai, and this is no slight, but it just kills me to see all of these sisters trying to look like white girls. The hair thing, the hair. I want to see some beautiful afros. Let me see you pick that beautiful bush. Let me see that.
Let me just say this.
Line in the airport door. Just stop. Damn. Just
Doni,
grab this lady. Just stop, damn it.
Doni, let me just say this. Your platform has allowed people to really be educated.
I understand.
And I keep saying I see your platform, but
it's ours, man.
This platform has allowed people to understand that this is real. We are either going to move forward or we're going to move backwards. And at the end of the day, if you do not know what's going on, if you listen,
you're going to get left by. You're going to get left out. You want to go over there and spend $1,500 for a Louis Vuitton bag. You lost your damn mind.
Well, why don't we create our own Louis Vuitton? Why don't we create our own Gucci? But Black people spend $1.5 trillion into the economy of the United States of America.
Almost $2 trillion now.
Well, last time I checked was 1.5. But
nope, I just checked it last week, 1.9.
What other group of people spend that kind of money in the United States?
We have that money. Not saying we spend it all. That's what we have. The amount of money in our community equals that of one of the top 10 economies on earth.
Well, how do we fix that, Donnie?
By doing shows like this and reaching people one at a time. There's some people you got to take out back to the woodshed.
Well, what we also
and then they say if a cat wants to be a lion, if a cat wants to be a lion, they have to lose their appetite for what? If a cat wants to be a lion, it has to lose its appetite for rats.
That is true. That's a very fair statement. And at the end of the day,
What's that line Beyonce have? Upgrade ya. Upgrade that way. Upgrade your thinking. How many of us know, for instance, Doug, that what we pay for rent, typically with $1,000, $2,000, maybe $3,000 down payment, you could be buying a home. It's a man right around the corner.
Well,
I can almost see him. Listen, he spent 30 years paying rent at a house. 30 years.
That's true.
And didn't own nothing. The house burned right on down there. And you know what happened to him? They moved him into a senior home. You've been paying rent somewhere 30 years. I know you play lottery. I know you can count.
Well,
I saw him play lottery all the time. The house burned down. He got nothing.
Well, let's look at it. Let's put it in perspective.
But we want to go to Dubai. Boots on the ground.
Let's put it in perspective. There's an organization called NID, National Investment Division, in Oakland, California. That is a national organization that as you know, Tammy Willis, she is a officer on that issue. They have programs that will help you put the down payment down on buying a home. And that's exactly what you're talking about. We need to stop being
stop supporting St. Patrick's Day. Listen, blacks were the first Europeans. I'm not arguing that.
Right.
Just do your damn homework. But we spend on holidays that mean absolutely nothing. In my neighborhood, I swear to beans, they're already busting off fireworks for the 4th of July. And I just want to I saw one. Y'all have always wanted to see the people who bust off fireworks to see what they look like. And this one guy, he looked damn near homeless. And I'm thinking to myself, instead of going around busting off fireworks, you think maybe a bath might be a good move? And then go to a job interview?
Where is he buying the fireworks from?
It ain't from us.
You
got to get them out of state, typically Virginia, Pennsylvania.
It's from Asia.
Yeah.
And the container ships at the Oakland port bring a lot of those fireworks in here. And that goes to the point of what you're saying. We need to stop looking at the colors and the bells and whistles, and we need to look at the economics of it. You, Donnie, have brought into this forum. You have brought the opportunity to bring in a social media platform that can identify why it's so critical that we stop looking at the bells and whistles and looking at where our money can make a difference. Once again, you said $2 trillion. The last I checked was 1.5 trillion. If you take a third of that money, which comes up to, in my opinion, comes up to $500 billion, and you put into the black economy, what can that do? That can make a huge difference. And we need to understand that we have got to start looking at the bigger picture. We politically and economically, Black people are on the bottom of everything. And that's one reason why Trump has decided to do what he has done. He has gone after Hispanics because he knows when he comes after the Black people, he has to have a template of what has worked to.
Well, let me tell you, they made themselves vulnerable because Black women said after that last election where they voted 90% for Kamala, Black women said after that election, don't ask us for nothing. None of y'all.
Well,
neither one of y'all, don't ask us for nothing.
You know damn well that they did not want a Black woman running this country and being the strongest person in the world. You know that, Donnie.
Strangers, yeah. And you think Donald Trump is strong?
Donald Trump
he's a criminal. He's a racist. He's got issues with moral turpitude. I mean, you were best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. What happened to character? If you know, Obama wasn't Jesus, but damn, if Obama did 1/10 of what Orange Man had did, Shorty be over. He'd be over at Lawton somewhere. They would have locked Barack Obama up.
Look at what's going on here in LA. The Capitol was stormed by ignorant, unintelligent people, and Trump has exonerated them. Just think if it had been Black people, blood would still be flowing in the streets.
Oh, we saw it. Like when the white people climbed the walls of the Capitol, smoking weed in Pelosi's office and all of that foolishness. See, we had a million-man march in '96, and people weren't acting up. These are grown people, but people got killed because of Trump and his followers. And he should be held accountable for that. See, they always talk that accountability thing. You know, and that's a narcissist. A narcissist, they're going to get mad at your reaction, but pay no attention to the behavior which caused it. Now, look, I want to look at this right here. He said, everyone doesn't want to be homeowners. It's a lot of responsibility. Well, that's why I have my issues with renters, because a renter will come in and destroy your property.
Donnie,
ain't got them, don't want them, and don't want nobody else to have nothing. And when they come in, oh yeah, thank you for helping me. You're a good brother. And you know, next thing you know, their kid's foot is through the wall. Or they throw chicken bones out the front door. Don't tell me about a renter.
Donnie, at the end of the day, you remember the show that was called Good Time? They want us to believe that we need to be on welfare and working at car washes instead of being
white people are more welfare than Black people. Going back to Barack Obama giving them golden parachutes back during that financial crisis. CEOs were getting golden parachutes and their employees getting fired and laid off. We know that it's all about money. And the white people that voted for Trump because they thought it united them on whiteness came to quickly realize they were hoodwinked and bamboozled just like the Latinos and every other demographic that supposedly voted for him. Because I don't believe nothing this country says. I don't believe it in Baltimore. I think they steal elections in Baltimore. I know they do. I know damn well they do.
Let me tell you something.
We had an election. Look, you got me on a roll now. We had an election in Baltimore in 2016. They had 1,800 voting irregularities in Baltimore City. 1,800 compared to 200 in the rest of the state. And that dude didn't get locked up. He should have been locked up. You played with the people.
Because we're not at the table, Donnie.
No, we ain't taking them out back. We didn't creep up in their house and put a plastic bag over their head and took them for a ride. Hypothetically.
We're not sitting at the table, Donnie. The Democrats.
You can sit in their back room.
Yes.
and wait on them to come in their house. He said, "Did you just vote there?" I watch a lot of spy movies. Keep your door locked.
We're not sitting at the table, Donnie. We're on the menu instead of sitting at the table creating the menu. And that's what is more important than anything. If we don't go to city council meeting, if we don't go to Alameda county supervisor meeting, if we don't sit at the
we go to boots on the ground, though.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you
then they got a little girl. They got a little tiny little girl, and she's like the national spokesperson for Boots on the Ground.
Well, wait a minute. How's that working for us?
Teaching her A, B, damn C's.
How's that working for us?
What's this thing with making little girls look grown?
How's that working for us?
Yesterday, happy birthday to my baby. The baby looked like, now this is the young lady, but mama, stop dressing your baby like she going to the damn strip club and thinking that's cute.
Well, Donnie.
No, tired of it. They dress these girls to look like the prostitutes don't even know what to buy.
Donnie.
Hookers don't know what to wear.
Donnie, if you look at it, white people dress their kids.
I ain't got nothing to do with them. I'm talking about us. And then they post up the picture. You see my baby? Oh, that's your baby?
Donnie.
Chris Rock said his job was to keep his daughter off the pole. We dressing our daughters for the pole.
Donnie, if you look at it, when you go, and when my daughter, she's 30 years old now. When you go to school, black kids are dressed in Gucci, Bucci, and Avalucci.
You can't even spell Gucci.
Yeah, and when you see the white kids, they're dressed in denims, etc. But when you go to their homes, they have beautiful homes. Black people, when we go to their homes, they live in.
I ain't gonna go that far. We got nice homes. I just see some nice homes that are dirty.
I'm saying that
I see some nice homes where instead of cutting the grass, they pour concrete on the lawn. I ain't giving them all that kind of, but don't forget, and this is the thing that killed me. I see these cooking shows with all of these white guys who are experts in cooking. You still there, Doug?
Yeah, I'm here.
Why didn't they cook their own damn food during slavery? That's all I'm saying. You can cook now. Why didn't you cook your own damn food back then?
Well,
why didn't you breastfeed your own damn babies? Why you got my auntie over here breastfeeding your baby? What's wrong with your woman?
Well, look at things like.
Then you wonder why all these other ethnic groups out reproducing you.
Look at things like lobster. Lobster was not a high-end meal, and look at it now. Look at it now. You have to cut your arm off to get a lobster tail. So how did that happen? Look at chitterlings, and I call it chitlins. How did that happen?
The Koreans sell them and they mess the spelling up. Chitterlings. Chitterlings.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. But they make a close second. And you know what? They pay some black lady to teach them how to. You got to clean them, though. Let me tell you. You got to clean them chitlins. They all guts. You got to clean each one. And if your house ain't funky after you clean them, then you ain't clean them.
Well, at the end of the day,
you eat chitlins?
I love chitlins.
You eat hog maws?
Love. My dad used to make spaghetti. What's it called? Pig feet spaghetti. That's what my dad used to make. You ever had pig feet spaghetti?
Nah, black man.
Yeah. That my dad used to make pig feet spaghetti. Think about that.
No, that's a lot.
So at the end of the day, he used to make
spaghetti. Doug, you should stop that early in the morning.
My dad used to make pig feet spaghetti. Think about that. Have you ever had pig feet spaghetti?
No, sir.
Yeah. Well, my dad used to make pig feet spaghetti, and I loved it. I loved it. Pig feet spaghetti. So, we have to just understand that there's a different mindset in America that uh whatever and if you look at it, Donnie, whatever we like, whenever it became popular, it became expensive. What do you think about that?
I'm glad we stopped buying them damn Timberland boots. Paying all of that money. You stop buying it, the price go down.
Who buys it though?
Black people, young black men. We buy Timberlands.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I ain't young no more. I'm turning 60. Is 60 still young?
Well, I'm 62, and one of the things that I've learned living in Oakland, and I can stop by any store, any liquor store, grocery store in the neighborhood, and I will go talk to the brothers. And the reason why is because we call and you're going to be OG once you hit 60. You're going to be I'm a triple OG. You haven't made it here yet. But when I stop and talk to the brothers, we got to stop being afraid of our own people. That's critical. We're afraid
scared of.
Yeah, we see brothers with dreadlocks and pants bagging, and we go, oh, I'm not gonna patronize that store because they scare me. I'm not gonna patronize that store because look at those black guys there. Why are we are scared of our own people? Why? Why is that? Can you help me? Why is that? Donnie?
I'll be in about 7 minutes.
I'm just lining up. We got a guest coming in from Los Angeles. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Doug, you were saying?
Why are we afraid of people who look like you and me? Why are we afraid of ourselves?
Mainstream media. Hundreds of years of conditioning.
Donnie, you have allowed many people across this country on your blackusa.news to articulate and educate people that we have got to start looking at things differently. And until we do that, we're going to have the same problems that we have now.
Some people are going to look at it differently. And like Bob Marley said, Bob Marley got a song that said, many more will have to suffer. Don't ask me why.
Well, you have...
Don't ask me why.
Donnie, you have architected a platform that allows people across the country to connect and understand how important it is for us to understand the problems that are happening here in California are happening here in Baltimore. That is what you have done. And you need to own that. You need to, people are afraid that the platform you have created will allow people to become informed on how we as a whole need to come together, because the problems on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the mid-states, they're the same problems.
Man, we got to get back to those elders. I'm all for the rappers. Some of these rappers, I saw this cat at the BET Awards, and the clip said he was sucking on a $50,000 lollipop. Somebody should have whooped his ass. Who the hell? God gives you a platform to reach people, and that's what you could think of. We got too many damn clowns in our community. That's all you could think of, given all of the issues we're facing as a people. You come to an award ceremony sucking on a lollipop. First of all, a $50,000 lollipop. Like it had diamonds or glitter, a whole bunch of stuff on it. That's what you thought to do. You thought that was slick.
Where do you get a 50? I've never heard of. I've never heard of a.
His ancestors should have come back from beyond, the great beyond, and whooped his iron parts. Now you can take whipping any kind of way you want, whatever it takes to change behavior. Maybe it's shaming them, maybe it's putting a leather strap on them, maybe it's sending them to therapy, but something needs to happen. And this might need to sit youngin' down, him and his nouveau riche self, and teach him the value of this platform. Yeah, you can reach 100,000 people, and all you can show our young brothers, the little boys, you want them to aspire to be like you, sucking on a $50,000 sucker for the world to see. His elders need to pull him to the side and put that pillow over his head for a minute. Let him see what no hair feel like. Because that's when you're sucking.
I've never heard of a $50,000 sucker. That's new to me, brother. That's new to me. I've never heard of a $50,000 sucker. That's a new one on me.
Who are we impressing?
Well, black people have,
and sisters, you brought that Negro home who didn't know how to keep his pants up. I got to put some onus on y'all. You made him think that was cool.
Well,
and you want your son seeing that type behavior. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have brought him around.
Let's be clear.
Now your son is sagging. And do they know they come from the plantation where a buck them been broken by a homosexual slave owner? Or turned out by his freaky deaky wife.
Donnie, let's be clear here. Our sisters have.
It wasn't just a white man creeping in that barn.
Donnie, let's be clear here. Our black women are turning the page to understand that it's not about the visual.
$3,000 ounces of exotic cannabis.
Donnie, let's be clear here. Our sisters are being educated that it's not all about what the visual is. It's about the character and the content of the black man. And the white man has disintegrated that through decades, through centuries of making us look like boo-boo the fool.
My daughter learned early on, I don't even think she thought to bring a clown around.
Yeah. Well, I have a 30-year-old daughter, and one of the things that I am very impressed with her is that she understands is not what the visual is what the content is, what the character is.
And do you teach your daughter to look at his relationship with his parents?
Yeah. No, and that's a big
just like girls that didn't have a daddy,
right,
have a trauma of theirs to deal with. Boys who didn't grow up without a daddy have a trauma too.
Well, let me just say, I had my mom
a lot of times.
Yeah, I had my mom and my dad in my life. My dad passed away about 11 years ago.
But you told me you had some uncles that told you they would come over and give you a tune-up anytime you needed it.
Oh, yeah. And one of the things that my family has done is has educated their people. It's not the visual, it's the character. It's the is what is with that person.
We revere strippers. We revere strippers. We're now taking advice from strippers.
That's true.
What can you tell me, lady?
Well, what's going on with Atlanta, Georgia? Tell me about that.
I don't know. You want me to get them on the phone? What they tell you?
Atlanta has a unique character. And what I mean by that, there are a lot of people who do not articulate the essence of black people with the and I'm trying to be diplomatically correct.
White people, Atlanta, I'm gonna tell you what's happening. Black people are getting outnumbered in Atlanta.
Black people are what?
Getting outnumbered.
You think so? Why is that?
Atlanta's over 50% white.
Why? Well, Oakland used to be 46% African American. Now we're down to 20%. Why is that?
Because we were allowed into more integrated neighborhoods, and when we decided to move on up to those better houses and get better education for our children.
But once again, if you notice the areas that Black people have cultivated into economic viability, who comes in there and disintegrate that?
White people.
Case in point.
I got white addicts in my alley right now.
Why is that? Economics.
Because I ain't caught them with this bat yet.
Donnie, you have created a platform.
I'm gonna chase anybody out my alley, black, white, otherwise. Don't be in my damn alley. Now you can cross the line. Now I got to let the dog loose on you. Don't be in my damn alley. There's nothing in the alley for you. Nothing. But see, also in the alley is entrance into vacant houses and people trying to creep. We didn't have fires and everything. We do not play around here about the alley.
Well, I agree
with Carlton Avenue. It won't turn out well.
Well, I agree with this brother, Chris, who said you can have both parents in the house and still be traumatized. Yeah, I agree with that.
Both parents slaves. You're right.
I totally agree with that. And brother Chris, that is a critical point.
We need them daddies in the house. Okay, that's the bottom line. And I get it. Mom and dad beefing, so it's better to bounce. That don't stop you from being in your child's life.
Oh, well,
good job.
Let me be clear here. America wants to create an image of Black people that Black men do not take care of their kids. Number one,
Black men are some of the best fathers in the world. Tell them go sit down with their stereotypes.
Right.
From the projects to Martha's Vineyard, Black men are some of the best fathers in the world, especially to be a dad in this racist ass country. Tell them go sit down. Go read your comic book somewhere else.
Donnie, you and I both know that the image that mass media, large media portrays is Black men being one of the most insignificant of all.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said. And then we saved every damn war. Many of the wars this country fought saved by Black men. So they can slide that over. If I didn't know my history, I might fall for the okie doke. But when I learned about the Harlem Hellfighters, the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, when I learned about the Buffalo Soldiers, we know who got courage. Well, we know that if you had courage, you would need 10 or 20 Klansmen to lynch one Black man. You could do it by yourself, sucker.
Well, if you remember the organization called
now you gotta get 10 on 1.
If you remember
bust a grape in a fruit fight, and they're gonna give somebody advice on fighting, like Trump. He gonna talk all that smack about the veterans. Shame on him.
Donnie,
don't talk about veterans, man. You do not talk about veterans.
Donnie, if you look at it, it is a push to make people of color, specifically Black people, that we are insignificant, that
because
we don't take care of.
He can erase all the books they want, but I tell you, this next person coming in better restore it. That's first and foremost.
Well,
they better.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Who do you think would have been a better president, Trump or Kamala Harris?
Okay, I got a question for you. Why didn't Biden get his old ass out the race sooner?
Well, that would have.
See, we still disaffected by ignorant white males.
that would have helped.
Your opponent told you you can't remember your name. You might want to get a replacement. But no. Biden is the one you should be blaming. Go blame Biden.
Well,
I don't care what he did. I'm telling you what he didn't do. He should have kindly stepped back, gave that girl a full running chance. You already know how these people are. And I do think America will vote for a woman.
Well, let's look at,
because I think there are a lot of brilliant men out here of all races who understand leadership is leadership.
Well, let's look at here.
You can't be satisfied with this idiot. Who goes and messes with Canada, man?
Donnie, let's look at here at Oakland, California. We had a black man who was propped up by Elon Musk and Donald Trump with $400,000. We have to get out there on the ground and fight for what's right. We can't just say, "Oh well, we gonna vote for this black man," but we don't understand what the black man stands for. Because if we don't know what he stands for, you stand for something or die for nothing. Is that correct?
Stand for something or fall for anything.
And that's correct. And when I see Lauren Taylor, he looks at me and just almost wants to, I think he wants to come over and punch me in the face if he thought he could get away with it. But we have to, Lauren Taylor.
Oh, can he fight?
I don't know, but he come running up over here.
Did he go to your high school? Did he go to your high school?
No, he didn't go to my high school. I was captain of the wrestling team, so I'm not really worried about that. Okay. I was an MMA coach teaching men how to. Oh, hey, brother, what's happening? I see another brother on. I'm going to let him step in. But at the end of the day, Donnie, we are representatives of a culture that we have to stay strong with, and we have to push up as the white man pushes us down. Hey, Troy.
What's going on?
How you doing?
What's going on, brethren? You were, as usual, Donnie Glover was right. He was like, you want to do 6 a.m., you want to do 7 a.m. I was like, man, I'd be all right on the West Coast.
We
and went down the rabbit hole. You know, Donnie will send you down the rabbit hole when you start getting information. Us journalists that try to follow his lead.
So what is the deal in LA, Troy?
Well, first off, what's going on, everybody? Troy Rawlings, Baltimore native, but now in Los Angeles last 17 years. You know, we have a president that's not doing anything spectacular. He's doing messy stuff in a spectacular fashion. And the misconception is that LA is on fire, just like the last time we was on fire. People were calling. Every time something go on, people call me. My friend Lynette called me, lives in North Carolina. She was like, "You all right down there?" I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" She was like, "The protests." I was like, "Did you see me any Black Lives Matter protests?" She was like, I said, "Did you see me down there during COVID?" I said, "I'm a 50-year-old black man from Baltimore. Do you think I'm running towards where the cops and the problems are? I know how to protest right here."
Protests in place, huh?
Protests in place. Just set up the lights, action. But
my daddy said, read about it on the news, son.
Read about it on the,
go the opposite direction of trouble.
Look, just imagine how much news we had when the Baltimore Sun came out 3 times a day. 3 times a day on Wednesday, twice a day, was it? Something like that. And but now with the 24-hour news cycle, you have a way to sensationalize things. Are protests going on? Yes. Are they still sending people down to protest in black ninja gear with masks and stuff? Yeah, I got people that do executive protection, Reggie J, who are down on the scene saying that they're having great protests. And around 2 o'clock after their lunch break or whatever, you'll get some clear folk, Caucasian individuals or some pegs, and they're spray painting or they're busting up stuff or they're busting windows. Like Black Lives Matter. Remember you see the marches, then you see some people dart off to the side. They got like ski masks and stuff on, messing stuff up. And the crowd used to pull them like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they just go somewhere else. That little stuff is going on. Some cops, they showed some cops the other day busting up one of their own cars. See, if there's a certain level of violence or disorder, then the president has the right to invoke national security. It's a problem. You know, when the riots happened, Freddie Gray in Baltimore, when the Rodney King in LA, when the riots happened, oh, that's serious civil unrest. There's looting. There's no looting going on. There's nothing crazy going on. Actually, what's happening now is as he's sending people down, because the governor did not ask for it, you have military people and stuff like that are being stationed and held up in places with no food and no water. Because the government, where you go, has to provide the things they need. So that stuff is happening downtown in certain areas. What is happening, I had a neighbor, Veronica, I just ran into the other day from one of my old neighborhoods in Burbank. Wonderful sister. We're talking, and she starts telling me about legal scams where supposed lawyers and law officers are taking Latinos' money, saying they can help them not get deported. It's been going on for a while now. You know, so, and you probably know this, Donnie.
That sounds like a hustle. I mean, that just makes sense.
Hustle across the board. And we're gonna get back to Donald Trump, but here's one of the big things you got to realize about Donald Trump: doing messy things, not doing anything spectacular, doing messy things in a spectacular fashion. One of the key things you got to realize: which president had the most deportations in American history?
Oh, Obama. Didn't Obama?
Obama, 3 million. 3 million formal. What's the second president?
Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Democrats.
Democrat. Formal, quiet. Donald Trump locks in around 1.2. How do you get those numbers up? Let's do some mass deportations. Actually, we can do them, and we can still invoke fear. We can still do this Hitler plan of invoking fear and getting people so fearful that maybe they won't try to vote against me if I can set up enough stuff. And we have to be careful, because some people say we just need to put people in place and impeach them. Well, if you remember back, Bill Clinton started something new. Bill Clinton got impeached and never left office. Bill Clinton got impeached, never left office, plus there was a war going on. Sure. Donald Trump got impeached. COVID was going on.
Nothing happened to him.
Nothing happens. So we know how to get around that. That's easy. I can send a bunch of people, like a bunch of beige Spider-Mans climbing the Capitol building and get away with it. I can send them from up the street. Hey, go up the street and cause some problems. I'll be up there in a little bit. Drive by in the car. So it's all of this is about, we know what bullying is. If you came up in a place like Baltimore, we have real bullies. We just haven't had another bully to smack them in the mouth yet. And
right. Sure.
And the issue with that is, George Clooney came on the news, and you know Hollywood doesn't have the power it has, but certain people can mask certain things. And they were interviewing George Clooney because he's in Broadway, a lot of hit named Broadway. And they're like, who do you think are some good people? He naming people he thought were good coming up. He said, but the one who I would really like to see run in 2028, he said Wes Moore. So he said, and the first thing he said, he's a two-time active duty soldier. He did wartime twice. And he started talking about, you know, his patriotism and stuff like that. But we got to realize that all we're seeing is now unrest is starting to happen in some other places. But remember, Donald Trump is a guy that wants to be remembered as the president that was most effective. He hasn't done anything yet. The deportation factor, he's been talking about it. He's been talking about Mexico on the wall. That didn't really take off right. What else can we do? Well, maybe I can be the deportation president. Well, you got a long way to go. And see, formal deportations is different. You have documented proof that these people were gone, and we never knew about it. We knew nothing about what Obama. Most of the stuff Obama did, we probably won't hear about it for a while. With Clinton, and also when you see something, Reagan was a different era, but we're in the time of sensationalism. We're in the time of, if it's loud, it makes more sense. But we're also in a time that there are really, by 2050, United States is already the immigrant melting pot of the world. The whole power of the United States was getting people from other countries to come here and start a new life. The same thing that certain places that are desolate now are trying to pay people to do. They're trying to pay people in places like Greece and certain places around the world to populate, because they know what the generations moved away. The older
they're paying black men to come to Japan, to Poland,
everywhere.
Bunch of countries.
Black man, you know how many black guys I know that's going to Thailand on a regular basis? I don't know fully why, but they're going to Thailand on a. It's more black guys I know. Single trips. They ain't taking nobody with them. Guys don't travel in groups. So yes, is there some things to be concerned about? I'm concerned because I have a lot of friends who are Latino, but the Latino community in Los Angeles is like the black community in Baltimore. That's how deep they are. So Los Angeles is a place, because here's another thing. Trump ain't going into Texas like that. Texas is a different type of animal. So he's doing some stuff, because you hear some stuff, civil unrest in San Antonio, but Texas is a different kind of animal. And the Republicans are starting to look at him sideways because he's seeming a little Hitlerish.
He's been
Troy, what you're saying is right on point. I'm down here in Northern California and you're in LA. I had a colleague and actually a family member, Dr. Ashley Coleman, and she articulated that at the end of the day, what you're saying is true, but we have got to start getting the mental understanding and stability that will help us deal with these psychological problems that are plaguing our community, our Black community. And I got to be honest, 30, 40 years ago, I'd be like, man, I ain't going to go see no doctor of psychology. I'm not crazy. I don't need to see. But we are the most devastated people in dealing with psychological issues that devastate us mentally. And until we start dealing with that, we're going to have.
What if every Black person gets therapy?
I think that would be healthy.
Will it matter if white people don't get therapy?
Let me tell you, white people get more therapy than any.
I do not agree.
But you're talking about, he's talking about the conscious factor of what they contributed to a race being in a position they're in.
Right. That part. He said
that's something that, that's a factor. It's what the scenario is. Well,
domestic violence. You want this dude to everybody needs therapy because everybody needs some healing.
Right.
Why did you even get to
Black people? But Black people need more therapy
in the first place.
But Black people need more therapy than any other group of people. For 400 years, we have been devastated. We have been devastated with racism. We have devastated with our women getting raped.
And you think white people it's normal for anybody to do?
Brother Doug, that's deep. But think about that. Who needs more therapy?
The victim or the victimizer?
The victim or the victimizer.
That's a good point.
And that's a key that we have to be mindful of.
If I hold the door for a girl because my mother raised me that way, and she just walk on by and don't say thank you. I'm from Baltimore. Thank you. I know your mother taught you. When they say don't hold my son to the standard of holding the door for your daughter, and she can't say thank you. If you didn't teach your daughter to say thank you, like somebody owes her funky self.
Let me address that. When me and my lady friend, we traveled about right before the pandemic, I would open the door for her, and a white man would run through, and I would say, "Hey, I wouldn't open the door for you. I was opening the door for this Black woman, my girl."
Did you say a white man would run through?
I opened the door for my girl, and the white man would walk through. So the point I'm making here is
that's a bold white man. That's a bold white man.
Yeah, he'd go to the elbow.
Troy, I would tell him, man, no, come back. I would have him come back so that my Black sister, my Black woman could go through first, because that's the mindset. That's the mindset that the Black woman is not thought of in any respectful way. I said, man, what? I wouldn't open the door, and it wasn't just white men; it was Indian men, it was Chinese men. It was devastating.
Were you slow? Were you on a walker?
Where were you at?
How'd you let him get in
I was like,
between
where
you
were
and
you
your girl?
vacationing?
Baltimore, Florida, Atlanta, LA. It was I couldn't believe it.
Maybe you had all black on and they thought you worked there or something. They might have, because you got the look, if you, he was like, oh, thank you. Like, no, this is not for you.
Troy, I'm telling you, and
Doug,
I would open the door. I would open the door for my girlfriend, and the white man would just run up there like I'm opening the door for her, and it was unbelievable.
And also because if she's a younger sister, and you're saying girlfriend, so I take it she's a bit younger.
He thought that was his daughter,
or she just didn't know the protocol. She had to catch up to what he was actually doing, because that's what Doni's saying. I've had my hand slapped. I've fought with women over the door. Will you move? 60-something-year-old women.
Right.
I've had. Oh, I'm just so used to. You so used to what? Here's another thing we have to be mindful of in our communities when it comes to that. And I talk a lot on this relationship thing over the past 20 some odd years. And I believe in, my mission is part helping men and women communicate better in love. I don't believe in the battle of the sexes BS. So it's a next book coming up too, Battle of the Sexes BS. But the helping us communicate better in love, being more loving, because we're past the generations of saying, who raised you? Where's your grandmother? We already know that situation. A lot of women have never even heard a woman say, baby, he's just a man. And let me tell you how to deal with a man. And when they said that, they weren't even being disrespectful. They were just talking about the nature of us. And we have to do a better job at getting rid of the propaganda that as Black men and women, we're always against each other. Donnie, you've seen as many families and married men and powerful married. Most of the powerful Black men are married. Most of the powerful millionaires and billionaires are married. So
that's how you keep the wealth.
That's how you keep the wealth. And that's how you keep the wealth. Most of the powerful men and women, Black men, are married. Most of the powerful Black.
Our problem is we want our cake and eat it too.
We want our and just the nature, and that's the nature of things. But we just have to get to a better place of loving on one another. One thing that was great about the 60s and early 70s is that they pushed Black love. It was, and we didn't.
Music.
And the music.
We had love music, belly rubbing music, slow dance.
Sly Stone just passed away. Sly and the Family Stone. And the way they hurled him as a rock superstar, funk superstar, the way they hurled him. But look what Sly did. Not only did he make music at a time that Jesse Jackson's 75th, it was like his 75th birthday and the anniversary of Hope, the Rainbow Coalition. And he was talking about how Berry Gordy, when Martin Luther King was trying to do the funding for his committees and his people, and they ran out of money for the payroll, he was like, well, go see this is a Black guy in Detroit who's a record producer. He gives money towards it. So he go there. There were certain people that funded the civil rights movement that people don't know about. Harry Belafonte, the Hugh Hefner, the guy from Larry Flint Jr. from Hustler magazine was there in his wheelchair at Jesse Jackson thing, and he talked about Larry Flint and how much money he gave to the civil rights movement.
We bought a lot of magazines from him.
I was wondering. My father used to get my father had boxes of the Playboy where they come to the mail. That's when they came in the mail in the black joint, and they would come in the mail. I was like, why is he supporting Playboy? I read the article. And then I realized, they do got some good articles. And I realized that Alex Haley, I remember seeing a documentary on Hugh Hefner on Twitter. I tweeted, I didn't know Alex Haley wrote for Playboy. Hugh Hefner, from his Twitter, hit me back.
A couple of things we don't know about Alex Haley.
A lot. And he said, yes, Troy, and the editors of Playboy edited Roots. And it's a civil rights they see it. People in the, because now we have the LBGTQ, whatever.
Everybody's standing on the back of black civil rights.
Everybody. All of a sudden, the race or the culture of black has been placed in the other subsections.
They watered it down. And then the LGBTQ, once they accomplish their goal, they kick the black LGBTQ to the curb.
That's the whole thing.
Let me say this.
Down. A racist is a racist. I don't care what sex they are.
Well, let me just say this.
They're all the same.
There was an issue in the Alameda County, state of California, where a brother he told a white girl that I'm not calling you they, them, or those. You a she. And they were trying to eject him off the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee. And I had to threaten, and I'm putting this out there. I had to threaten the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee. If you eject this brother from the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, I'm going to have the NAACP come in here and fight for this black man. Because we, no matter what other groups, Hispanic, LGBTQ, any other group, they always find a way to put us at the bottom of the heap and look at us as less than a human being.
I'm only going to say this about the NAACP. If it's not black owned and operated, 100%, is it really black owned?
Well, I did a press conference last year.
The NAACP wasn't founded by just black people.
But Donnie, I did
it's like one of those safe Negro organizations.
I agree, but Donnie, and I agree.
Oh, but we'll give you some actual awards. Would you like an award, Troy, for telling jokes or even a book you've written?
Donnie, I agree. Last year, I did a press conference fighting against the Oakland branch of the NAACP, explaining that they have been hijacked. They have been hijacked from people who are not looking out for the best interest of black people and are trying to articulate and educate our black people to support people who go against what we are talking about here on this platform.
You know, one of the things that and Donnie mentioned it, we forget sometimes that there was a media guy and professional who just sued Time Warner, several people in the NAACP. Remember, Byron Allen came forth and talked about how they were putting people in place that they wanted in place. And he, you know, Byron Allen sues people, and then we don't hear anything more about the lawsuit. And then he pops up and buys the Weather Channel. They settle with Byron.
But you know, this is also come up. As soon as we try to buy things, we get a hit on our back.
The different thing now is that, and this is something, and I'll say this to people, and hopefully they can watch it later or whatever like that. If we want to make the biggest stand, we can follow suit with the president. The one open forum we have right now, continuously. Before, the reason the music was so powerful was because our open forum was the music. Entertainment was the way that they let us in the door. They and certain people who didn't look like us would fight for us to get in. You have a Frank Sinatra fighting for Sammy Davis and all these other people to get them in the door to be heard. You have the music let us in the door. We can get through in the art. That's why it was such a drastic. Somebody said this before. That's why it was such a drastic change. Special Ed was on I think it was on Drink Chance or something. He said something that could have been very controversial, but you got to listen to it. He said, I think NWA really destroyed a plight for us as a people. Well, Ice Cube and them came back and said they were paying them to talk about murder, death, sex, drugs, and alcohol. Ivy Levine, all these people were paying them big money. St. Ides, they were, the money was overflowing for people that talked about death, murder. And if you look at the awards, you know what really hit me? My old car died, and I had to step up, and I'm an electric vehicle owner now. So I had to, but I have the Sirius satellite in there. You ever go, and you can do it on TV, but it's not, we get desensitized sometimes. But I'm in the car, and I go through the hip hop channels, and then I listen to country, and then I listen to the other stations. There's no other music genre
That calls people
calls
names like we do.
And talks about death and talks about guns and talks about, when you hear it, but and this may because
now
maybe
women
because
call
I'm
themselves,
now.
I'm the baddest bee.
And you hear the way it's different across the board with other genres. No one else degrades themselves with their tongue like we do. And
Right.
and that's something, that's where I get into this thing. When you see my new comedy stuff, when you see stuff, you hear a lot more when I'm doing my talks and stuff, you hear a lot more of me talking about being loving. Like, we have to start from the basic levels. And that media right now is the open door for African Americans and Black folks. Media is the open door. But even with media, you see a lot of the younger people, I talk about sex, love, relationships, stuff in closed forums. Well, the stuff I used to talk about in closed forum, let's just put it out. And there's certain things that they'll push out, but things like Be More News and BlackUSA.news.
Oh, no, they put me on a list. We know about them.
On the list. They watching this. This is on a clicker with their CNN. They're like, okay. But we have to be mindful that media is the open door. So if we want to get anything, I could, my daughter spent a lot more time with her mother. She spent a lot more time on the phone when she's not with me and stuff like that. Now I could try to take my daughter's phone, or I could be the one who's producing more. That's one of the reasons I moved out of Los Angeles. Either I could talk about the problem I have with some of the movies and stuff that's going on, or I could find a way to be a part of the solution. And media is our open door right now. So,
well, this brother, I'm looking at it, says they still doing it. Why our youth are lacking self-value, and that goes directly
because we at the club, boots on the ground.
If a baby do boots on the ground, a baby doing boots on the ground, but ask her to spell boots. So you gotta, it's the nature. You have to use the media accordingly. Watching the BET, every time I watch the BET Awards, it's like, oh, we don't have to question if BET Awards is 25 years old and BET is 45 years old, and we saw them go from Ed Gordon and Donnie Simpson and love to the family of Ananda Lewis, who just passed away from cancer, and but we watched BET as it was sold right before, and as it was sold to Viacom and stuff like that. We watched the shift. I got respect for Kathy. Donnie always jokes me about Kathy Hughes, but the reason I got respect for Kathy Hughes because she's always going to keep WOL. She's always going to keep a talk radio station. She will never not have a talk radio station. And
let me ask you this: you ever heard of a Soul Beat in Oakland, California, which is the first Black media in America? It was called Soul Beat, and the mass media did everything they could to step on them from being successful, because the American people, the white masses, do not want us to be have our own understanding, because we spend more money than any other group of people in this country. So,
including on St. Patrick's Day, I still don't get that. Why in the hell are we buying green beer? Troy, we got to get out of here. I got to have some emergency stuff. Any final thoughts since we got you up bright and early? I'm sure you're just like thankful for that.
Oh no, I'm usually an early bird. I got to finish up some writing. Shout out to the Sheen Magazine family. I got a couple articles coming up in the next few magazines. I got to get on it.
Where can people follow you, Troy?
Follow me at Troy Rawlings live on Instagram. Troy Rawlings, TroyRawlings, like the sports company. If you're in Baltimore, like the Rawlings family, you'll find me wherever on social media. And stay tuned for what I got coming. I'm a comedian, so you can go on YouTube and pull up some of my comedy stuff too. Not for the kids.
Have you been on Club Station yet?
Troy, it has been an outstanding opportunity and an amazing time here today. And next time I'm down in LA, I'm going to be looking you up. But at the end of the day, Troy, we have all Donnie, I'm going to give you your props. You have given us the platform to articulate and educate our people across the country that it is important. The problems we're having here in the Bay Area, in Northern California, in Southern California, are the same problems we're having in on the East Coast. Thank you, Donnie.
Hey, Troy, if you go on Shay, man, you better represent seriously because dude's suspect. Represent us well.
I don't know when I'm hope if I'm on Shay, I done made it. But he got something. I don't know what it had me talk about, but hopefully I ain't do nothing scandalous to get on there. Because Troy, since you're on here, Troy, since we got you here, let's talk about this scandal. Like, but thank you, brother Doug. I'll look for you too, man. Look me up. I'll connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, world. Thank you.